The story begins in Tanyan Holy Land, Dalian Province, which is one of the 4 Holy Lands. The disciples are concerned about the Holy Land going bankrupt and about the spiritual Kai running dry. One of the disciples informs the others that the elders and the Lord are having a meeting at the moment to figure out what to do, and since their Lord is very young, the disciples are hopeful that he will be able to resolve their problem. Inside the Lord's hall, Elder Wang informs the Lord that since their land had been degraded to normal grounds, they are unable to continue producing spiritual herbs, meaning that they have lost their source of income. Another elder named Shi joined in as well, saying that the celestial peach tree has withered, and the tree is the roots of their holy land. The Lord yawned and stood up to address the elders. He tells them not to worry since he had already prepared a solution for their cash problem. Elder Wang tells him that it wouldn't be able to fix their debt of 150,000 high-grade spiritual stones, and wonders if the Lord has found a new blessed land. The other elders found the idea of a new blessed land to be exciting, and Elder Shi informed them that they have nothing to worry about since their Lord is dependable. The Lord tells them that he hadn't discovered a new blessed land, but the solution to their problems is the item he had in his hand. He threw the item to Elder Wang and Elder Shi, and after observing the item they realized that it was a low-grade magical item. This left the other elders confused, because magical items used have been categorized into magical items, spiritual items, treasure items, and Tao items, and their Lord has just handed them a low-grade magical item which is considered the least desirable. The other elders are too embarrassed to sell such low-quality items, and ask the Lord how they would be able to fill up their debt of 150,000 high-grade stones when a typical low-grade magical item is worth about 5 low-grade spiritual stones. Elder Wang asked him if he really planned on having them sell the low-grade magical item, and the Lord informed them that he does, and explained that the item isn't your typical low-grade magical item, and that they should inspect it carefully. After inspecting the device, the elders learned that it was a communication device that has no limitation on distance, and even the weakest cultivator could use it. Elder Wang found it hard to believe that their Lord was able to create something of this level since he is young, so he makes plans to replace him if the item doesn't work. The Lord tells him that it is good that he doesn't believe anything unless he sees it with his own eyes, and he asks him to use the escape technique that allows him to travel 1,000 miles away. Happy to see how well the Lord's new creation works, Elder Wang gets ready to use his technique. But the Lord stopped him and asked if he had noted down Elder Shi's number. After telling the Lord that he had, he used his technique to teleport away. The other elders noticed that Elder Wang seemed angry that the new Lord would make such a ridiculous joke in front of him since he had been in the sect for 600 years. After a while, an elder speaks out that 100 breaths had passed, and if they heard anything from Elder Wang. But Elder Shi informs them that Elder Wang had said nothing. The Lord, who is remaining calm, tells them to wait for a moment. Elder Shi speaks to the Lord saying that he should admit his mistake before they cause more trouble for the great grand elder. But right after he finished his sentence, the low-grade item started ringing. This surprised all the elders, but the Lord was not surprised by the success of his invention at all. Elder Shi answered, and we see Elder Wang, who asked if the others could hear him. Elder Shi answered saying that they could hear him and asked where he was. Elder Wang tells them that he ended up somewhere in the mountains. This surprised the other elders since they were able to communicate even though Elder Wang was so far away. The Lord grabbed Elder Shi on the shoulders and asked for Elder Wang to teleport even farther. Elder Wang teleported to the Phoenix Island, which is 50,000 miles away. Then he teleported to the Cave of Dragon Immortal, which is 100,000 miles away. Finally, he teleported to the city of Dalian, which is 500,000 miles away, and still the item worked. The other elders gathered around Elder Shi, asking for Elder Wang to bring them back something from the city of Dalian. The Lord then asked the elders if they believed in his plan now, and they all responded saying that the Lord's new creation is the hope of the Holy Land. The Lord, who is listening to them praise his invention, thinks to himself that the elders haven't even seen anything yet. Elder Shi then speaks out saying that he never lost faith in the Lord, and the other elders continued praising the invention. The Lord then asked if any of the elders had any objections to selling the item, and all of the elders were on board with selling the magical item. Elder Wang arrived at the Lord's hall and apologized for not believing in the Lord earlier. The Lord approached him and told him that the elders don't have to be nice to him since they are all working in the interest of the Holy Land. The elders are happy that the Lord is mature for his age, but Elder Wang, who still has some questions, asked him how the low-grade magical item works. The Lord smiles while thinking to himself that he has to educate the boomers with knowledge from his previous world. We then learned that the MC, whose name is Yi Chen, transmigrated to this world 37 years ago, and he was discovered by a master at the age of 17. After being discovered, he was brought to the Tanyan Holy Land, where he acquired various achievements, and in a mere 20 years he was able to reach the immortality phase, taking over the position of the Saint Lord, and his new invention takes after the mobile phones from his previous world. To answer the elders' questions, he showed them the base station and tells them that the low-grade magical item is the key that connects everyone to the base station. Continuing his explanation, he tells them that when two people want to make a call, the base station is what receives the call and sets up the connection. His explanation confused the elders, so he got concerned at how he would be able to explain everything so the boomers would understand. Elder Wang, who was the only boomer to understand the explanation, made it easy for the others to understand. Amazed by the functions of the base station, the elders asked the MC where he got the idea of such a godly creation. The MC tells them that he got it from the Celestial Book of Tanyan, which is a sacred item of the Tanyan Holy Land. Continuing on, he explained that after becoming Lord, he started studying the Celestial Book. Because of this, he learned that the book shouldn't be used as a weapon, and that the past Tanyan Immortal used the book for deduction of all information. The elders are impressed that the young lord was able to create something this amazing, and wondered what he is trying to achieve. The MC thinks to himself that if the Celestial Book was in his previous world, it would have been a supercomputer with infinite computing power. Speaking to the elders, the MC tells them that even though he is using the book as the base station right now, he plans to use it to create the internet in the future. And when he does, it would become a worldwide business. Then he will rule over the whole celestial world. The elders are happy that the financial problem has been solved, but they are concerned that something will go wrong and they will lose their sacred item. The MC tells them not to worry since they will have ways of replenishing the book's spiritual energy if it runs out. He thinks to himself that even if all the computers in his previous world were combined, it would only amount to less than a tenth of what the Celestial Book is capable of. Since he had explained everything, he declared that the communication tokens will become a business industry for the Holy Land to focus on. He then tells Elder Wang that the item refining peak will focus on creating the communication tokens, and that the metal used for the runes needs to be provided by the sect, or else the token won't work. Elder Wang asked him if the reason the other metals wouldn't work is because the metal from the sect is different from the outer world. The MC then explained that the metal provided by the sect has been altered by the Celestial Book Sky, so only those tokens made by the metal from the sect will be recognized by the base station. The elders then asked him how much he plans on selling the tokens for, and they started listing prices the token should be sold at. After thinking to himself that the elders are too old school, he tells them that he doesn't plan on making the tokens expensive since he wants everyone in the celestial world to use the token. Elder Wang tells him that if they price the token too low, the returns would be too little. The MC tells them not to worry about the price being lowered because their returns would increase instead of decrease. They asked him how that would be possible, and he told them that the tokens cannot be used infinitely. Continuing on, he explains that you can use the token for the first year after purchase for free, but they will pay after the year is up to continue using the token. The elders are concerned that the buyers would get angry with having to pay a yearly fee, and only one of the elders is able to understand the greatness of the MC's plan. After asking the other elders to think carefully about what he just proposed, he explained that with the spiritual pill there is a need to buy it over and over again, even if one doesn't use it himself but uses it on his pets, and tells them that in the future when everyone has a token they will have no choice but to spend their spiritual stones. He then tells Elder Shi that the External Affairs Office needs to start purchasing and amassing a batch of fine metal, but Elder Shi tells him that their sect already has enough metal so there would be no need for them to buy more. He tells him that he has another use for the metal and asked Elder Wang to motivate the sect's item refining masters to create a lot of the communication tokens. Elder Wang accepts, and the MC tells the other elders to go and make preparations, because once the tokens have been produced he wants them to be sold at every shop. After addressing the elders, he gets ready to end the meeting, but the elders stopped him since he hadn't given the tokens a name, so he gave the tokens the name Ringtone. The elders are very happy with the name the MC had chosen for the tokens. We then see the MC at the Lord's residence. He is happy that he was done dealing with the boomers and complains about having to use money to advance compared to other webtoon comic MCs. He wonders how long it will take him to reach the divinity phase so he can become the owner of the Celestial Book. He starts hitting Celestial Book with a computer and saying that he is struggling because he awakened a pay-to-win system. The system opened with a notification, so he wonders what option he should choose. He doesn't want to disrupt his cultivation road, but choosing the perfect option would require 100,000 high-tier magical stones. Because of the demand of his system, money is all that's on his mind. So he begged for the ringtone to become popular quickly, and once it does he can start on the internet. Once he creates the internet he can copy the business tactics of Google from his previous world. Then he will be able to earn enough money to support his cultivation. Continuing on, he explained that he had sold everything in his possession to break through the immortality phase, and all that's left in his storage is the Secrets of Battle book. So he takes it out so he can start cultivating. While cultivating, he explains that the secrets of battle technique is a practice method for battling, which is very versatile in deducing skills and techniques. 3 days later, his ringtone went off, and after picking it up, Elder Wang tells him that they are producing 100,000 ringtones daily and that they have 30,000 in storage. Continuing on, he explained that after some calculations, the revenue for one ringtone will be 90 low-tier magical stones, and 100,000 ringtones will bring 9 million low-tier magical stones, which converts to 900 high-tier magical stones, and 900 high-tier magical stones a day would equal 300,000 high-tier magical stones. Because of the expected income, a lot of disciples have switched jobs to refining items. This concerned the MC, so he told Elder Wang that a daily production of 100,000 ringtone will be enough. The sacred fire bell was then sounded, so all the elders gathered. And in the Lord's Hall, the MC asked how the preparations for the markets and shop were coming along. An elder tells him that they have a total of 230 outlets ready. So the MC tells them to begin sales tomorrow. And the meeting ended. Outside the Lord's Hall, the elders are happy that they will finally have a product that represents the Tianyan Holy Land. But inside, the MC is worried because he knows the product will need time to become popular. He gets less concerned when he thinks about having the ringtone spread throughout the lands, so he wonders if he should then bring the elders and disciples to use higher ranking items. Thanks for watching, and make sure you hit that like button.